Hey everyone, I'm Chaz here from Board Game Geek, and I am joined today by Jared from Bard Games, who's going to be introducing us to the Lost Worlds of Josh Kirby. Hello.
Hello. How are we doing?
I'm doing really good. This game has been on my radar for quite a while, so I'm really excited for you to kind of lead us through it, what it's about.
Awesome. So, The Lost Worlds of Josh Kirby is a somewhat of an area control, dice action movement game. And what you are trying to do is either settle or conquer the galaxy, depending on how evil or wonderful you would like to be. Mm-hmm. And we do that by moving these fleets of ships around, moving them to these cards over here, and claiming each space depending on how you want to go. Your morality will also change as you play, so you actually become evil or you become a savior or a tyrant, and that'll give you different abilities and change, remove some of the abilities you might have during play as well. As you play, we're going to roll these dice here. Each of these dice has different actions on them. They allow you to get your ships out of hyperspace here. They're traveling faster than light speed, and so we need to take them out of there, bring them to our home world, and then send them out to settle or conquer these worlds here.
Excellent.
Okay. Josh Kirby, if you're not familiar, he's a very prolific artist. If you don't know him by name, you definitely know his work. He did, one of the most notable things would be the Return of the Jedi poster. He did Ray Bradbury book covers, all the Terry Pratchett book covers, Tunnels and Trolls back in the day, if you're familiar with that. So you've probably seen his work somewhere. And this is all unpublished work that we got the license to do a cool game with. Right.
You actually worked with his estate to get never before published artwork that he did?
That's right. We worked with his niece, actually, and we got access to all the stuff that has never been on a t-shirt, never been on a print.
Wow, and there's quite a bit of it in here. And
absolutely, and there's so much more too coming in the final version.
Yeah, and well, actually, before we get into the final version and where this is, so why don't you do a sample turn? Show me how you would roll the dice, apply them, and get your ships out of hyperspace into these worlds.
You got it. So on your turn, you're going to roll all 3 dice. So we're going to start there. You're going to roll all 3. So now we have these different symbols here, and I got... Is there a better place to show it? There we go.
There we go. Yeah.
Now on this roll here, I got the ability to move 2 ships.
Okay.
To settle a world, and this one can settle or conquer a world. And what that means is with movement, I am allowed to move 2 of my ships, because there's 2 symbols there, to my home world from hyperspace.
Okay.
Another way you can use move, though, actually, if they were already in play, let's say I was already settling this world, but I decided to turn evil, I could use the movement to move them over to the other side of the world, or even to a different world.
Okay. So the sides of the card here matter.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
At the end of the game, these are also victory points. This tells you how many fleets you need to settle it or conquer it.
Okay.
And then at the end of the game, you will score those as your victory points.
Excellent.
Each of those worlds also has a special ability on them. We'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
But now, I'm going to look at these here. So I would go ahead and take my 2 ships at the beginning of the game here, and we'll go ahead and start to settle. If you look, settling costs more ships, so they're a little bit harder to get, but they're also worth a lot more points at the end of the game.
Okay. And did you move these over to the settling by using these 2 flags?
That's right. So that's what the flag is for. There's a fist, and you can see it right there. And that's how you do the conquer, and then the flag and the fist are right there.
Nice.
In addition to that, we also, you can look right on here. Most of the game is actually on this player board.
Okay.
So if you look, it says, on your turn in the middle there, roll the dice, re-roll dice. So if I wanted to, my morality is in the middle. I'm neutral right now, so I'm a scoundrel. As a scoundrel, you actually have the option during step 2 to re-roll any of these 3 dice.
Okay.
Once you start resolving them, though, they're locked in. Okay. So you got to make that choice before you start using the actions. But if you see, if I start settling, my morality will move toward the left there, and then on that first spot, I will lose the ability to reroll the black die, because I'm not so evil anymore.
I see. Okay.
That black die has a lot more conquer ability on it. And then the same thing on the other side. If I start becoming evil, I lose the ability to reroll the white die.
Okay, so as you get a little more on the good side, you have less control over your evil intent.
Yes, but the more good you get some bonus points at the end of the game as well.
Oh,
so
sweet.
These are extra victory points for kind of tipping those ties, maybe.
Okay.
In addition to that, your morality also controls the extra things that you can place. You have a champion. If you place a champion on a world, it's going to reduce the cost of conquering or settling it by 1.
Okay.
So that is awesome. You can do that by using Renown, which are those clear cubes over there. You start with 1 Renown at the beginning of the game, so actually that's one thing we didn't do is pass them out to us, but we do normally start with 1 Renown.
Okay.
And then you can also get Renown by, let's say, you came over here and you conquered this world and you took it. My 2 fleets are there. You wreck them. They get sent back home, but I also get 2 Renown because you wreck 2 fleets.
Okay. You got your battle stories and your heroes in a way.
Right. And so you can actually do that as a strategic move. You can send them to a world you know that's going to get taken so you can get that Renown.
Oh.
And you use that Renown to place your champion, or the other cool thing is the Dreadknot. So if I place a Dreadknot, I'm going to put this little guy on it here. These are definitely not final components. We're going to have some really cool stuff. We got a nice standee with actually one of those original pieces of work from Ray Bradbury. It's the Silver Locust ship.
Cool.
But also on the Kickstarter, there's 3D files available. So if you want to 3D print your own, we actually had a model made of the ship from that image. Very cool. So there will be a token that will indicate whose it is, because there's only 1 Dreadnought. So now if you were to pay Renown, now that this Dreadnought is out, and take the Dreadnought, you would actually take control of it.
Okay.
But while the Dreadnought is in play, that means that whoever controls that Dreadnought is the only person that can acquire that world, regardless of how many ships other players have on it.
Okay, because it's just so massive. It's
just this big imposing thing. Nobody's going to do anything while it's there.
Now, so you're going along, you're collecting these worlds, and
Yes.
after you conquer or settle it, I imagine you gain it over to your area? Is that
Yes, absolutely. So when you take one over to your area, let's say I conquered this one. I'm going to slip it under the conquer side here so that only the conquer side is showing.
Okay.
And you do want to kind of cascade them because you want to be able to read your special powers that you have.
Okay.
When you do that, you also take a token because each power only has 1 charge. And you're going to have to spend that token to use that power. But there are ways to recharge that, some of it in the Powers of the Worlds. Also, you can spend 5 Renown to recharge it.
Okay.
Also, you can spend 3 Renown to roll the Epic Die. The Epic Die is awesome. So one of those is recharge a world power. But one of the other things it does, lots of cool stuff, it'll recharge your Renown 100%, which there's a maximum of 5 Renown at a time. You can take all of your fleets out of hyperspace at once.
Ooh.
You can place the champion or the Dreadnought. And one thing I don't think I mentioned quite yet is that if you are on the good side, you can only use your champion. You cannot place that Dreadnought.
Okay.
If you are on the evil side, the other way around. But if you're in that sweet spot in the middle, you can actually do either.
Okay.
But regardless, if you roll this, you can place either one if you get that result, regardless of your morality, which is pretty epic. And then the last thing that you got on here is 2 times. So that means that you can actually activate one of your other dice twice for that round.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to be going around, conquering worlds, collecting those worlds, accumulating and balancing our
Morality.
Morality. I was gonna
Yes.
say, but that's not the right. Our morality. And then the game. What ends the game?
So depending on how many players you have, you can see right here also on this player board.
Right there.
Once you reach a certain amount of victory points, so if we were playing a 2-player game, it would be 18 points. The moment somebody has 18 points, the game ends. But then each other player will get one last turn, regardless of who was first. So if we were playing a 5-player game, somebody hits 12 points. I was the last player in the round, technically. It doesn't matter. All the other players will get another turn.
Excellent, excellent. And you said this just completed its Kickstarter, is that correct?
That's correct. We funded almost 600%.
Excellent.
Very good.
So whether you back this or you want to pick it up after it starts to hit fulfillment, be sure to check out Bard Games website or this game's Board Game Geek page for more information. And in the meantime, thank you, Jared, for joining us.
No problem. That website is bardgames.fun, and we are taking pre-orders now.
Excellent. Thanks. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you.